Hey there, and thanks for joining us today here at Rentman. My name is Tim. I am the North American Operations Manager here at Rentman, and today you and I will be taking a closer look at the inventory tracking side of Rentman. So how can I make sure my gear gets booked out and booked back properly? Now, before we get started with all of this, what are we even talking about here? What is Rentman? Well, if you've stumbled on this video, Rentman is a cloud-based, all-in-one resource management and quoting platform for the event production and production industry. So if you have trouble scheduling your staff, keeping track of your inventory, which is what this video is about, or creating professional estimates, then Rentman might be the right solution for you because it can all do all these things from a single place. You can track your inventory, you can schedule your staff, you can send quotes, you can pull statistics, you can do maintenance management. For all of these things, you have Rentman. Now, in this specific video, as I said, we're going to focus on inventory tracking, so making sure your equipment it goes out of the shop and also comes back in. Now, if you're interested in other parts of Rentman, Rentman has a modular approach, which means that you can pick and choose what parts of the software you would like to use. If you're interested in other parts of the software, just make sure to visit our website, that's rentman.io, or take a look at our YouTube channel. In this YouTube channel, you're going to find videos on all the other parts of Rentman, and you will get a better idea what might be interesting for you, and maybe there's some things that might be interesting for you in the future as well. So to actually demo the equipment tracking side or the inventory tracking side of Rentman properly, we first need to make sure that a few things have been set up. So let's switch to Rentman right here. There we go. And we can already see we're looking at the projects module right now, but I think for now what we're going to start off is we're going to look at the different databases that we have. So as a reminder, if you haven't watched any of our other videos that explain those databases a little bit better, we have an equipment database. So in this equipment database right here, you would set up all of your equipment, you can import your equipment, you can structure it using a folder structure, and you can also directly build your own kits and cases. So kits and cases are both combinations of equipment. So make sure you have entered equipment into your system. If you haven't done that, then obviously the inventory tracking side is not going to work because there's nothing to track. On top of that, we also have our contacts option right here. Under contacts, you can easily set up all the different individuals that you're working with. So that's from clients or venues to partners. All these different companies can be added right in here, so you can easily choose them when you're setting up your project. Now, on top of that, we have a crew member database, so if there's additional people that you're working with at your company, you can easily add all of your crew members in this section and make sure that everybody has access to the system. You might have some warehouse staff, you might have some sales managers that are setting up the projects, so make sure that these have been entered in the crew member section as well if you're collaborating with people on this. Yeah. Now, moving ahead from here, let's talk a little bit more about the actual project that we're going to book out later. So we're going to head over here to projects, and we're going to take a brief look here and check what needs to be entered into a project to make it available for bookings. What kind of requirements do we have right here? So we have a project right here. It's my music festival, and I'm just going to double click on this to open it up. And then you can see right here, there's a bunch of information that we have added in here. And right now, I'm really just going to focus on the very essential things that we need. If you're looking to how to set up a project, please take a look at our video, which focuses on quoting and invoicing. That will explain in more detail on how these projects can actually be set up. Now, if we want to make sure that a project is bookable in the warehouse, there's two things we need to make sure of. First of all, we need to make sure that equipment has been added. So in this case, I'm working with a project template, which you can see contains quite a few equipment already that we have structured, that we have added in here, and we obviously have made sure that all of this is available during this time. Now, second of all, make sure that a time has been entered. If you don't enter a specific start and end time into the project, it might be difficult finding it in the warehouse, because when you go into the warehouse module where you book the equipment, you have to define what the day is and on which days you would like to book equipment out. And then third of all, and that's maybe one of the most important things and one of the things that is most often forgotten, is if you go to the General tab, you have to be certain that your project is confirmed. If you have not changed the project status to confirmed, it will not be available for booking in the warehouse module, which we have right up here and which we're going to take a look at now. So, as I said, we're going to confirm our project, make sure that this has been done, and then we're going to click on Save right up here to make sure this is also saved into the system. And now we can go ahead and actually take a look at the warehouse module. So we're going to head up here, select the warehouse menu tab, and then we can directly see that this is now going to load all of our information. Now, what we can see in here is essentially the ability for us to pick a time and date. So we could, for example, see all the projects that need to be booked out today. This is also the music festival that I've just taken a look at when we're creating your projects. And then we could, for example, also see projects that need to be booked out tomorrow. So you can also look into the future. So your warehouse staff can also get a better idea, what are we working on today? What are we working on tomorrow? What are we working on next week? So this is, a reason for why you can change the date quite easily right here. So when we're talking now about actually booking the equipment out, there's nowadays two main ways how this can be accomplished in Redman. We first have the mobile way, and second of all, we have the more traditional way of connecting a scanner to your computer. Now the mobile way, what we have seen a lot of people do and really appreciate about Redman is that instead of having to be connected to a computer, you could download the Redman app on your phone for Android and iOS. We're also going to link the app in the description of the video below, and you can also find us on our website. But essentially, you can have your team download the Redman app on their phone and then do all of the warehouse management right on their phone. And the way this works is that you could directly display this screen right here on, say, a 24-inch, 75-inch LED somewhere in the office. And then whenever your warehouse staff comes into the shop, they can directly take out their phone, they can scan this QR code right here with the warehouse app, and then they can directly start scanning in and out equipment, because by scanning this QR code, they're directly going to open up the digital pull sheet on their phone. So there's no more looking for pull sheets, there's no more opening this up on a computer. They're directly inside the digital pull sheet once they've scanned this QR code, and they can start working on this project collectively. Yeah. Today, however, we're going to focus on the browser version of Redman and how to scan equipment out here. And there's a bunch of things you can do here. So first of all, let's take a look at the general overview. First of all, we can see what projects currently still need to be packed, which ones have prepped already, which ones are currently on location or expected back, and then the projects that are also delayed. For us right now, we only have our music festival that we just talked about that we now need to pack. Now we can see a note that was left here, by me or by my project manager to provide some more information. These are notes that you can leave in the project. And then if you're looking to have a more physical approach, you can also always go right here and quickly create a pull sheet if that's what you prefer to work with. Yeah. Alternatively, if you would like to add notes, you can do so right here. And of course, we can now start looking at the actual equipment booking side of things. So to do that, we're going to go down here and click on Book Equipment. And now this step is just like if we were to scan the QR code, going to open up our digital pull sheet for this project. And this digital pull sheet shows us exactly what our account manager or sales manager had previously added to the project. So we can now see the equipment that is currently still in the warehouse, but has been booked on this project, so has been assigned to the project. And we can see the same structure that our sales manager had created here. So we can see our consumables, our stage lighting, our DJ gear in this case. So depending on how the project was set up, this is how it will also be displayed in the warehouse section right here. Now, in terms of booking equipment out, it's very easy. Just connect your scanner to your computer, click on this little button over here to activate the scanner, and then piece by piece, you will be able to scan the items and move them over from the warehouse to the next step. In this case, we're booking directly from warehouse to on location. So say if you have a smaller project where the equipment is going out directly, this is what you want to go with. You could directly just book from warehouse to on location and thereby tell Redman that item A, B, C have been booked out to the venue now. However, let's assume you have a larger job happening. This job might require you to book your equipment first into a prep area, or maybe you're just going to put it on the dock before you light it on the truck. So in that case, you could just go up here, click and change the status. So here you could now change the booking to book from warehouse to prepped first. Yeah. And then afterwards, you could be booking from prepped to location if you would like to have that intermediary step to have a little bit more certainty that you've really packed everything. Yeah. So we're going to be taking this approach. We're going to book from warehouse to prepped. We're going to choose this. And now before we actually start booking, there's a few more things I want to point out. If your warehouse staff, or if you are warehouse staff, and you were to realize that you're missing some equipment or you need an alternative, that's not a problem. It's very easy to directly go right here and, for example, click on this 3-dot button. And once you click on that, you can easily just enter additional equipment, click on that option, and then directly choose whatever you would like to add. So if I type in a random equipment item right here, I can directly pick that, define how many I need, if this should be included in the price calculation, and if it should be linked to the default project times. And then you can easily just add this into the project and make it part of this specific quote already. Yeah. Alternatively, what's possible too, if you realize something is broken while you're packing the gear, or if something was planned accidentally, it's also very easy to just go right here, click on the three-dot button of an item, and then easily plan an alternative, or maybe display an image if you want to make sure that you're packing the right item. Yeah. Now, about booking the equipment out, unfortunately there is no scanner available for me right now, which is why I'll be handling these things manually. So to move ahead with this now, we're going to actually piece by piece move these items over. So piece by piece I can just drag these over. I can also just click on the book button if I wanted to do that. Yeah, it's very easy. And just a quick heads up here, if you want to make sure that everything is scanned, you also do have the ability to disable the ability to book things by clicking, so you can also force people to actually scan every item. Yeah. So we're now going to go ahead and book a few more items over, but as I said, as these are quite a few items and as I don't have a scanner available, I'm actually going to go ahead and click on everything to prepped. And this is going to help me quickly book everything over. It's going to ask me, hey, would you like to do that? Would you really like to book everything over into the prepped status? To which I'm going to say yes. And then man realizes right away that, hey, everything has been booked over into the prepped status now. Does this now also mean that your project status is packed/prepped? Yes, it is. So we're just going to go ahead and save this and then click on done to confirm it. And there we go. Our project is now in the prepped status, visible right here. Okay, so we have booked our project over into the prepped status. Let's finish things up here and actually book it over to a location. And the process here is really the same. So depending on if you want to scan everything again, or if you just want to move things over after the initial scan on a truck maybe, you would just have to go down here, click on the book button, and then essentially it's going to open up our digital pull sheet once again, with the statuses now being a little bit different. So now obviously we're going to book from prepped to on location and not from warehouse anymore. And again, the process here is the same. So what we're going to do again is either drag these over individually, or what I'm going to do here now, as I don't have a scanner as mentioned, I'm just going to click on everything to location, which is going to allow me to quickly speed things up, book everything over. And now, as we can see right now, it's going to book everything over. It's going to ask me, hey, listen, Tim, have I booked everything over to on location, which I have done, which is also going to update the project status so that everybody involved knows what's happening. And I'm going to click on save right here. And then finally on done to confirm it. Yeah. And then unsurprisingly, our project is now on location, which means that it's going to stick here until it's time to book it back. And to be completely frank with you, the booking back process is very similar of what we just did. So let's go ahead and approach this, and we're going to go right here. We're going to click on book. And now, we're going to book things back. So we're booking from on location to brought back. So these statuses up here always give you an idea from where you're booking to where. And now the book back process is similar to booking things out, really. You can drag things over. If you've activated it, you can click on the book button to book things back. So it's very much like booking other things over, or we're going to click on everything returned, which is what I'm going to do now, actually. And it's going to ask me again, would you like to book everything back? And before I do that, there's two more things I want to quickly cover here. So let's, for example, say you're missing some equipment when the equipment is coming back in, or something doesn't seem to work when it comes back. There's a couple of ways that your team can actually register defects or lost items. Now, in this case, what you would simply do is if your spot didn't come back or came back broken, you would simply have to click here. And then you can directly choose if you would like to report it as defective or mark it as lost. So if I mark it as lost, it will then also show up down here in the maintenance module in my lost category. So if you were to find it, you could also directly mark it as found. And the same goes for defective. If you mark things as defective, they will directly show up in the maintenance module down here, where you can then take further steps to make sure it gets repaired either in-house or by a third party. Yeah. To give you a better idea, if I click on report defective right here, I can now see the options. So I can first of all choose if it can be used or not. It merely might just be a cosmetic thing that I want to register to make sure that everybody's aware of it. And then I can also directly choose if I would like to charge those costs to my customer. If that is your policy, you can just choose yes right here, give it a name and give it a cost, either in euros or in dollars if your account is somewhere else in the world. And then you will directly be able to add this as an additional cost to your project, which makes it really convenient for you to directly include those costs on quotes and invoices at a later stage, so you don't have to remember these things and add them manually. Yeah. So we're going to mark this as defective. then one of those directly gets booked back over. And then really what we can do from now, what we can do from here really is just book everything back. So just like before, I'm going to click on everything returned, and this is going to allow me to book everything back. Yeah, so I'm going to click on that, click on everything returned, book it over, and there we go. It's now should give us a quick notice that, hey, Tim, you've booked everything over. And one thing that we can now see here is that in this project, apparently I had some sales items. Now, if I have added sales items into a project, well, I've probably sold them and they're not really supposed to come back. So let's, for example, say in this case, all of my AAs stayed on site, they were all used up. And in this case, Rentman is not going to automatically tell you that the project has now been booked on location. This is something that you will actually have to do manually by going up here and directly clicking on change status and then closing the project right after. So changing the status from on location to returned, the sales item will essentially stay out. But obviously, if you haven't brought it back because you have used up those batteries, then there is no reason to book those back. Yeah. And then one more thing I want to point out here, I did show you guys just now how to essentially mark equipment items as broken if they don't come back in. Obviously, what does happen from time to time is that equipment breaks on site, and one of your techs might realize that. Well, in this case, the Rentman app comes in super handy again, because the Rentman app is actually capable of scanning QR codes or finding items when you're on site. And by scanning a QR code when you're on site, you can directly register an item as broken or lost as well. Yeah. So say you're on site, something breaks, you quickly scan it, you add a note, you quickly add a picture, and then you don't forget about it when you come back to the shop. Yeah. So it's an easy way to also do these things on site. Okay. So now we're gonna, as discussed, go right up here, change our status and close it. And we're just going to click on returned right here. And we're going to save it, and that's our last step here really. And now as you can see, it's going to load, and it's going to tell us that nothing is on location anymore, nothing is expected back anymore. If the project would not have come back in time, it would obviously show up in delayed, and then I could book it back whenever there's the time for it. Now for today, this covers everything. We've taken a look at the warehouse module. We talked a little bit about project and equipment databases before. If there's anything missing that you would like to see about Rentman, doesn't matter if that's about quoting, staffing, there's a few more things our software can do. Please feel free to check out our other videos. You can find them on our YouTube account and on our website. And then I would really like to thank you. As a next step, if you have not done it yet, go to the description of this video, click on the link, sign up for a free trial, or maybe schedule a meeting with me or one of our sales consultants. We would really be happy to talk to you about your requirements for a system, the system that you're currently using, and maybe the challenges that you're currently experiencing. And then we can find a good way for you to approach the system as well, and of course, assist you with the implementation of it as well. Thanks again for joining. We're really looking forward to working with you, and yeah, have a great day.